President Trump sending a warning to Iran after a series of rocket attacks targeted the U.S. embassy in Baghdad. President Trump tweeting, Iran was responsible. Lucas Tomlinson is live at the Pentagon this morning. Lucas.
Julie, the top U.S. commander in the Middle East called that rocket attack on the embassy the largest in a decade. Late last night, President Trump issuing the following threat. Our embassy in Baghdad got hit Sunday by several rockets. 3 rockets failed to launch. Guess where they came from? Iran. Now we hear chatter of additional attacks against Americans in Iraq. Some friendly health advice to Iran. If one American is killed, I will hold Iran responsible. Think it over. The U.S. Navy also giving Iran something to think over. Monday, the guided missile submarine USS Georgia transited the Strait of Hormuz off the coast of Iran and slipped into the Persian Gulf. The submarine carries over 150 Tomahawk cruise missiles and has a dry deck shelter to deploy Navy SEALs for potential sabotage operations to cripple any Iranian port. Escorting the sub through the volatile strait, a pair of guided missile cruisers, USS Port Royal and Philippine Sea. Those 2 warships alone are also armed with dozens of Tomahawk cruise missiles as well. In addition, the American destroyer John Paul Jones tested her 5-inch gun in recent days to send another not-so-subtle message.
Explosions were reported in Syria minutes after Israeli jets flew over Lebanon. Residents of Lebanese capital Beirut were left in fear as the jets carried missiles. Meanwhile, Syria's state media has said that the country's air defenses responded to an Israeli attack in the Hama province. It added that the air defenses intercepted most of the enemy missiles. Syria has accused Israelis of launching rocket attacks from the Lebanese city of Tripoli. Israeli jets regularly violate Lebanese airspace and have often struck inside Syria from Lebanese territory. However, the Christmas Eve celebrations have now sparked outrage in Lebanon, which is still reeling under the effects of the deadly August 4th Beirut blast, which claimed more than 200 lives.
A post-Brexit trade deal has finally been agreed 4.5 years after the UK voted to leave the European Union. The Prime Minister says it will protect jobs, provide certainty for business and deliver on the promises made in the 2016 referendum, taking back control of the UK's laws and borders. After months of talks and frantic last-minute wrangling over fishing, negotiators finally reached agreement this afternoon with just a week to go before the deadline ends. The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, described it as a good and fair deal. She said she felt relieved and it was time to leave Brexit behind.
Meanwhile, Africa's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is now investigating a mutant strain of COVID-19 that emerged in Nigeria. This is entirely different from the mutant strains which have been identified in the UK and South Africa. They were discovered in 2 patient samples from August 3rd and October 9th. There is no evidence to suggest that Nigeria's strain is more contagious or potent than the original virus. This development comes at a time when Africa is witnessing a surge in cases and the continent has more than 2.5 million confirmed cases. Now that is around 3.3% of the global caseload. Over the last 4 weeks, infections have spiked almost 11%, including a 52% surge in Nigeria and a 40% surge in South Africa. The Nigerian government feels the recent surge is due to increased travel and low compliance with virus curbs. South Africa's mutant strain, meanwhile, is spreading like wildfire. The confirmed caseload is approaching 1 million. The mutant in South Africa is more infectious than the original virus, but it's not clear whether it leads to more severe cases or not.
Next, the close encounter between a private plane and a man strapped to what appears to be a jetpack 3,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean. An astonished passenger on the plane capturing the sight on camera, and tonight the FBI is investigating. ABC's Will Carr with the video.
It's a scary sight soaring across Southern California. That speck in the sky is what appears to be a jetpack. At 3,000 feet, it's streaking past this pilot in a private plane. The close encounter just 7 miles from LAX. This is not the first suspected jetpack sighting near LA's largest airport. This past fall, 2 others were reported to be dangerously close to planes taking off and landing, where a crash could be catastrophic. One reportedly coming within 300 yards of a passenger jet.
We just passed a guy in a jetpack.
Don't hear that every day.
First of all, I would like to take to the TRT world for having us here such an important day. I mean, Turkey defense industry has proven itself on UAVs by successfully leading battlefield operations. I would like to point out that it's not the first UAV export for the Turkey, but it's the first UAV export in the history of our company, Turkish Aerospace. I mean, we have been empowering our cooperation with many countries for years. As Turkish Aerospace, I mean, we are proud to announce our first UAV export to Tunisia. I mean, this sale, I believe, will be an opening door for our company to penetrate to the international market with different regions.
Let's now shift our attention to the United States, where Donald Trump will be leaving the Oval Office in less than a month. But before vacating office, the Trump administration is trying its best to authorize weapons sale to its Middle East ally, Saudi Arabia. The State Department notified Congress that it is moving to issue a license for the sale of 7,500 precision-guided bombs to Saudi Arabia. The deal is valued at $478 million. After the license is cleared, giant arms firm Raytheon Technologies Corporation can then sell the weapons directly to the Saudi government. The State Department is hoping to clear the license before Biden administration comes to power. The sale came up first in January and faced a heavy backlash from the Democrats. According to the latest State Department notice sent to Congress on Tuesday, it suggests that Raytheon plans to expand its existing business relationship with Saudi and is looking to include future manufacturing of munitions overseas.
The health department has suspended screening at the Beitbridge border post to allow traffic to flow and to get through. It comes after the deaths of at least 15 people who are waiting to cross into Zimbabwe from South Africa. The department says it has to ensure the safety of all South Africans.
Initially, they were also raising issues that there was a long time being taken in terms of the COVID screening and the COVID testing. And one thing that was very confusing for us was that the main backlog was on the outgoing trucks, and we don't require a test when you're going out of the country. So we were only doing the temperature screening and only filling in the forms. But even then, we decided that just to ensure that there is a flow, we suspended even that part of it.
For more than a year, Athia Ibrahim has been coming to protest in central Baghdad to demand better services, political reform and an end to what he says has been decades of government corruption and mismanagement. But he's here today because, like many Iraqis, he is shocked and angry about the government's recent devaluation of the Iraqi dinar against the dollar by more than 20%.
We are stunned by the government's action. I will effectively lose almost a quarter of my salary because I'm paid in dinars. The finance minister says it won't affect us. How will it not?
The government said it had to devalue Iraq's currency because of a collapse in the oil prices brought on by a slump in global energy demands due to the coronavirus pandemic. This devaluation is the biggest since the fall of Saddam Hussein in 2003, and experts are saying it means the already abysmal economic situation for millions of Iraqis could get even worse.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's private plane has recently been spotted to be leaving Pyongyang and apparently heading for the East Coast. According to aviation trackers FlightTrader24 and No Call Sign, North Korea's Air Koryo flight JS671 was detected leaving Pyongyang at around 10 a.m. on Tuesday. The plane was identified as Kim's private jet. Although the final destination of the aircraft is unknown, it's believed to be heading towards the city of Wonsan in Gangwon Province, where Kim's private villa is located. So it's possible that Kim might be going to Wonsan to get away from COVID-19. His trip also comes while the regime has been careful in its approach towards the US, especially with Joe Biden about to take office as new president next month. Although it's been over 40 days since Biden's win was confirmed, North Korea still hasn't said anything about the election results or sent any message to Washington.